Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Black to Business podcast. I am your host, Monique T. Marshall, and I'm so excited about today's guest. We have a special guest on today speaking about, health issues within the Black community with their new app. So I'm excited to introduce Richard Bailey. He is the co-founder of GrpFit, which is a fitness platform specifically for the Black community. Richard is a graduate of Rochester Institute of Technology, where he obtained a Bachelor's of Science in Computer Engineering Technology and followed with a Master's of Business Administration from the University of Rochester Simon Business School. His professional experience includes software engineering, technology research, finance, and business operations. And he's hailing from Harlem, New York, and he currently lives in Oakland, California. So welcome, Richard. We're so excited to have you.
Nice. Thanks for the wonderful introduction, and thanks for having me. Looking forward to talking with you and just telling the story of GrpFit.
Definitely will make you feel right at home. I gave a brief introduction, but if you could just tell me, where did it all start? Like, how did you get to where you are today with GrpFit?
Sure. So it all started, I believe, in the spring of 2014. I was in my first year of business school, the University of Rochester, as you mentioned, and I was sitting in my information systems class, which was taught by Professor Ivy, my favorite professor of that school. And I had an upcoming trip, recruiting trip to a company that I was interviewing for. And I was doing what every student does every now and then and that's mastering the art of daydreaming and briefly paying attention at the same time. So, uh, right. So, I wasn't thinking about fixing up my resume. I wasn't thinking about my cover letter. I wasn't thinking about the potential interview, negotiating, none of that. I was actually thinking about how this was going to affect my workout schedule, where my gym clothes going to fit in my bag, what gym can I find when I'm there, is there a gym in the area that had the free day pass, is there anybody else from school that's going I can work out with, right? All the essentials of an MBA recruiting trip, right? So right when I finished my thoughts, I overheard my professor say that there's an app or service for everything that we do in life. And it clicked. I was like, oh, well, let me just search for something out there in the App Store or on the web that could provide me somewhere to look for a gym or a workout or someone to work out with in that area. And I found myself not finding anything and having resort to a few different, services, whether it was Google or Google Maps for finding a gym, looking at pictures, looking at the hours of operation, to Facebook, see who lives in that particular city, friends who I'm with, to just go to the gym website to look up their day passes, and the list would go on and on. And I figured that this was a real problem, and that I should be the one to solve it. And the name that I had in my head, and just a quick disclaimer, this wasn't even GrpFit. This was the born of another app called CrowdFit, which is what the first iteration of GrpFit was. And so this was actually a week before actually finals. So you could clearly see where my priorities were at that time. I decided to go 100% on trying to figure out, this problem. I talked to several of my friends, personal trainers who I knew in my network, classmates who I respected enough to give me an unbiased opinion. And once I kind of got a unanimous, yes, this is a great idea, you should pursue it. You are the one who we know is a gym rat. You have an engineering background. You have the business background. You should do this. Yes, do it. I immediately start to think of who can join me on my team. So fortunately enough, I also did my undergrad at RIT, which was right down the block. And I had several fraternity members who were still in the area or still in school that had a similar engineering background or worked on other technical entrepreneurship projects in the past. So I immediately reached out to BJ, Bruce, and Claude to hop on our team. And they immediately pretty much said, yes, let's jump onto it. And all roads were leading to that this was a great idea. So just like any idea, we started off slow. We were hesitating to get off the ground. The one idea of finding an exercise partner, finding a gym slowly evolved to a bunch of other different features and functionalities. During that summer, I moved to California for my internship at Intel. At the time, one of my founders was actually in the UK working on another project. And then immediately after that, I studied abroad in Argentina. And long story short, it took us 2 years, all the way to the July of 2016, to get GrpFit off the ground. And at that time, I was back in California working in the tech industry, and we received a lot of support from our community. And GrpFit was open up to all backgrounds, not just the Black community. But we found ourselves going out to various events, hosted events, being vendors at different fitness events, and everybody loved the idea. That led to a bunch of different downloads. That led to a lot of people talking about the app. However, we hit a wall really, really hard and really, really fast. And that wall was engagement. We found that a lot of people signed up for our app, but they were more interested in looking at other people's profile, because you could search based on your area. And they were not using the basic features of finding an exercise partner or finding a personal trainer or finding a gym in their area. And that was pretty much core value adds of the app. And we thought to ourselves, dag, 2 years, it took us 2 years to finally get this off the ground, because we were in school, we was in different time zones, 4 different time zones at one time. And we hit a wall pretty fast. What's next? And at the same time, our jobs, we were always doing this part-time. Our full-time jobs were getting pretty demanding. We all had very demanding jobs in the tech industry. So, we were trying to figure out what's next, and we didn't want to feel defeated. So later on that year, we actually had an opportunity to partner with General Assembly. And if you're not familiar with General Assembly, it's like a boot camp for people who are trying to get into design and user experience. So with working with them, they allowed us to work with two students who needed a final project. And what they did was, learn our app inside and out, and go out on the street and talk to potential customers. They went to gyms, they went to their friends and peers, they reached out to different email distributions, and what they found was very insightful. They found that yes, people were interested in others like we thought, but they're more interested in the community and social aspect of it. They wanted to share their progress. They wanted to look at others for motivation. They wanted to provide motivation to others. They wanted to seek advice, guidance, anything that was community based related to health and fitness. That was what most people were interested in. And, so we said, aha, this is it. Let's go full force. And then at the same time, in parallel, out of the Black community, we're going through, Black Lives Matter. We're going through the political climate that was very harsh. And still going to this day. We all know that story, and kind of instantly thought that, hey, there's nothing out there for the Black community. Hey, Black people are more prone to certain diseases as heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes. Hey, we come for these inner city communities, mainly from New York. Let's do something about it. And, without hesitation, we instantly scrapped GrpFit. We went back to the drawing board. And luckily, this time it didn't take us 2 years to get off the ground. It took us about 2 months. Let's say we learned very hard, do a lot of trial and error those 2 years. But we was able to launch GrpFit in July of this year. So we're pretty much three and a half months in, and it's been met with a lot of support and usage from our community. And here we are today.
Richard said this is his first podcast interview, and I swear you've just taken us through the story, and I'm all ears. So, my question is going to be, how did you do on that final?
Actually did pretty well. I got a A+. At that school, we created a 4.5 particular class. But I would say I had an engineering background, so taking information systems in B school was a breeze. So if it was another class, or maybe market or our human resources classes, maybe it was a different story, but I was fortunate enough that was information systems.
Gotcha. Okay. No, but you did good. So I know that, you mentioned a couple, your co-founders, and it's four of you all, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I know you previously mentioned the fact that, at the beginning stages, you all were in different places. So how has it been, making sure that everyone's vision is consistent and executed in that manner?
Yeah, that was great question. That was the tough part. Luckily, we've known each other for a long time. Being going to school in Rochester, being part of the same fraternity chapter, we had a lot of experience of working with each other, both professionally and personally. So communication and trust were top two most important things for our team, and that was clearly communicated or early and often throughout our whole process. Um, we will meet to this day. We meet every Wednesday at 7:30, and we will meet during the weekend if we needed to, or one of course we needed to, or text or call individually. But it was clear across the board that we may not speak as a collective unit for an entire week, but we're going to trust each other and hold each other accountable to get the work done in that time. And that led to us getting thus far, and that led to us have a great, efficient environment, and kind of led us to the success of GrpFit thus far.
So much of our listeners, of course, are entrepreneurs. And of course, it's getting cool outside and people are like making these resolutions that they're going to get ready for the summertime.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, if you could, walk us through if someone is after this, they're just hearing about GrpFit, is looking to download the app, like walk us through how it works.
Yeah, sure, sure. So once you download GrpFit, you sign up just like you would sign up for any other app or service. You pick a username, pick a profile picture. Once you do that, you're instantly taken to a list of suggested accounts. Those are people who are in our community that look like us, are active like us, and may have similar styles and goals. And you can easily follow them. And once you do that, you're taken to their feed, similar to whether the Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, and you can see their fitness activity. And when you're scrolling through through these posts, you'll see a lot of motivation people are giving each other, a lot of filtered out content. There's no pervertness going on. There's no body shaming going on. There's no false feeling of hope. Not everyone on there is shredded to the bone like you see on Instagram. You see the average person in the Black community just trying to be the more fit and healthier version of themselves. And that in itself is could be very positive to someone's mindset. And actually, this week we're releasing a new upgrade. Hopefully, by the time this come out, it will be available. We're releasing sample workouts, and in the future, in the coming weeks and months, we plan on offering articles of health issues in the Black community, nutritional content, video content, instructional content, pretty much anything you could think of relative to health and fitness. We want to provide to the Black community to help ourselves become the more fit and healthier version of ourselves.
Definitely. And I myself am downloading, so I'm excited. I know I'm trying to get my summer body, so I'm going to hold Richard to that. He is going to ensure that I get there with GrpFit.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's funny because we talk about the January fitness boom all the time is obviously a key point for us in marketing. Just like I tell everyone else, is the key thing is one, you have to be realistic with yourself. Like, don't set, just like anything in life, don't set unrealistic goals. Set small milestones, make small changes and increment on that. And you'll get to your result faster than you think, because if you go for the big, hairy fitness goals, a lot of times you'll fall short. And it's not because you just don't have it in you. Is that health and fitness is very hard, and everybody's body is different. And what you see someone else doing may not work for you. So it takes a lot of time and practice and effort to get what's right for you. And so that's why to start small, start with some milestones, and just increment from there. The results will be there. The results will last longer. and you'll definitely be happier with yourself, and your body will be happier with you as well.
Right. Now, is there some type of integration? So everything is not going through a third party. It's specifically on the platform with GrpFit.
Yes, yes. So, I mentioned the workouts. The workouts were created by us, by myself personally. Just being, the fitness dude that I am. There's a lot of experience and research with understanding the different types of workouts, whether you want to be a home workout, whether it's a calisthenics workout, whether it's, a workout just for legs and glutes, back, bicep, chest, we will have it for you. But the same thing goes with our video content that we plan on releasing, our articles on health issues of the Black community. Those will be on the platform, so there will be no third party connection, minus the social media connection where you still could post on our app and have it connected to Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Those are the only third party, I guess, integrations that we have.
Definitely. I'm on the app now and I'm loving it. It looks
Thank you.
so clean and just easy to, manage and sift through. So I love it. I followed a couple accounts, so I'm excited.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you mentioned the fact that, with CrowdFit, you started with a different community and now you've chosen to transition it into the Black community specifically. So that speaks a lot of volume about what you all stand for. So if you could just speak a little bit about how, the platform is able to help solve issues within the Black community and what some things you've, seen or experienced.
Yeah, sure. In my opinion, the hardest part of health and fitness is just sticking to it, just sticking to your goal. And a lot of times people don't realize that sticking to something starts with your support system. It starts with the community around you. People providing you motivation, people that may see you take a step back but encourage you to keep going. People that you can serve as a role model to. A lot of times people go to the gym, take gym selfies, which are cool. Just make sure you upload the GrpFit. They may not see the progress that they're liking in the mirror, and they have to resort to someone in their network to look for advice, something on Google search to find another workout, go to Instagram to see this false sense of hope in terms of what's attainable at times, and then they run into body shame issue, pervertness, you name it. There's the lack of consistent community in the health fitness space, especially for the Black community. So that's something that we're pushing with GrpFit, and that's something that we're help solving with GrpFit.
And has there been any pushback on the fact that, you're choosing to focus on a specific community? I know you said it's been great support for the most part.
No, not yet. Not yet publicly. That was a huge topic of debate amongst our team when we first made the switch. And to be completely honest, we all wasn't initially aboard to switching totally to the Black community for the exact things you said. We have the set of users that was on CrowdFit, people who's already on our email distribution. We had gained a lot of support from the Bay Area. The Bay Area was very diverse. So that was a huge hurdle for us mentally. But, we put our heads down and just went for it because the purpose outweighed any of that. So today we haven't received any backlash. A lot of my peers who aren't part of the Black community are still supporting us. They love what they're doing. Because you can't deny the health issues in our community. It's not a secret that we're more pro to some of the health issues that I mentioned earlier. And this is common knowledge. And not just the Black community, but every community has certain things in life that community faces on a day-to-day basis. So my thought process is if you have a problem with an app, a product, or service that is trying to better a particular community, then you need to look at yourself in the mirror, because we all have thoughts about our own communities and the thoughts about or wishing that there's things out there to help our own community more, or at least individually. So, we haven't received backlash yet. If we do, I'm not going to say we're not going to care, but at the end of the day, our purpose and what we're trying to achieve is greater than whatever backlash we may receive.
Drops the mic. That's a great answer. Besides, I think that's, a wonderful competitive advantage, the fact that you're so niche specific. What other competitive advantages do you feel like GrpFit has?
When we first switched to GrpFit, we found it hard to find pretty much like a one-stop shop for everything related to health and fitness, regardless of the community. There's various fitness apps out there that you could count calories, you could find recipes, you could count your macros, you could find workouts, you could count your steps, you name it, there's a separate app for it. And rightfully so, health and fitness is a huge umbrella. A lot of things goes into it, but also that leads to, getting lost. And in health and fitness, you need to be able to clearly have, the device or your support system in the arm's reach. And you need a platform where you could, share your progress or talk about your progress or talk about your issues without feeling bad for it. So you want to post a picture of yourself in the mirror, with your stomach out, what having to be afraid of somebody making a mean comment and stuff like that. So we provide not only a one-stop shop, or in the future, we're providing a one-stop shop, everything for all the features I'm talking about, but also we're providing that community and social sharing aspect, a safe, uplifting, and supporting environment that is definitely lacking out there for health and fitness apps. And, most health and fitness app by nature is very functional, tons of features. So in my experience, an app that is very feature based, they usually do a bad job at the social aspect of it. So whether it's Fitbit or Nike Plus or some of the bigger name things or MyFitnessPal, they may have a direct message feature or a leaderboard feature, but that social or community aspect kind of gets lost in amongst the other features of the app. So what we're trying to do with GrpFit is balance both sides, balance the community aspect of it and balance the functionality of fitness as well. And it's been pretty tough, but we're doing the best we can, and we feel that it's necessary to do the best we can to provide this platform.
So I know I mentioned before, you have 4 co-founders. How big is your team? Is it just you 4, or, volunteers, other employees?
Yeah, so right now it's just us 4, with 2 of us doing most of the work and the other 2 are more advising now. Once we switch from CrowdFit to GrpFit, 2 of our members, there's a lot of going on in our personal lives. We decided it'd be better just to have 2 advisors than 2 main co-founders. So that's where we're at now. But along the way, we've had help from various friends or classmates who helped to get this far. If the person is capable, we'll never turn down help. But right now, it's just us 4.
And now the platform, I must say, it looks amazing. Like I said, I'm not guessing the fact that it is seamless. So
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, of course, I have to ask, what does it look like in terms of are you guys seeking funding, or, did you get funding, or was it all self-bootstrap?
Well, it's all self-bootstrap. That's one of the pros of doing full-time. There's a lot of pros and cons. One of the pros of doing full-time is, us having a paycheck to self-fund some of our ideas. It's not exactly all of what we need, but if we need some dollars here and there, we can easily self-fund our stuff. So it's been completely bootstrapped. But at the same time, we are trying to take the next steps to going full-time. And it's about timing, it's about funding. So that's where we are now. We're at a crossroads where we are looking for funding. We're applying different accelerators. But again, one of the cons of doing it full-time is that, unfortunately, not a lot, or not all, but some people or some programs or some partners, VC partners, may not take you seriously enough because you're not doing it, you're not working on your product or service full time. So we're kind of at that unfortunate space right now. But it's something we talk about on a daily basis, and we're working towards crossing that road when the time is right.
And so all of GrpFit, is it free, or are there paid services in terms of monetization?
No, it's all free. It's all free. even in the future, when we add, more workouts, we add video content, we add in, the articles, nutritional content, you name it, we plan on making it free. That's another not con, another pro of doing it full time. We are not hard pressed to make money right now because we have such a passion for health and fitness. We know how critical it is for this information to get out there, and especially for our community. And we, being that we both have engineering backgrounds, we feel that it is important to design and program and serve your users first before putting your pressure on yourself to make money. Because once you start making money, the narrative change, your goals change. So right now, our goal is just to provide as much health and fitness content and much of a one-stop shop platform that we can to our community.
And I just want to interject my opinion there. What you mentioned is very important. I think that business owners should definitely think about giving quality first. And then, you're known for, producing quality, as with like GrpFit is quality. Just taking a look at the application, so that when you do ask people to pay, they're like, I know it's going to be even better.
Yeah, I can't agree more. You have to gain the user's trust with your app or product or service, and by doing that is the value add within your product or service, and that includes good design, good experience, good content, and especially with health and fitness, you can't just be anybody and get into a health and fitness industry. They have to believe you. You have to show them that you know what you talk about, show them that you know what you're doing. So we have to prove to them that we have the information, we have the content to make you a better person relative to your health and fitness goals. And then when the time comes, hey, we have this premium offering or whatever the business model may be, they'll be more prone to, pay for whatever service or product that you're offering.
And I know you kind of mentioned it before, but if you could briefly touch on, how the fact that you're balancing full-time and business, like how do you detox sometimes or, wind down, and how is that for you now?
Woo.
That's an answer.
That's an answer in itself. It's tough. If I had to do it over again, I would try as hard as I can to do it full time, but unfortunately, I wasn't in the position to not have a job. Bills still have to get paid, and school still have to get paid for. But we still have to do what we have to do. The hard part is one, still holding your reputation in the workforce as someone who is capable of their job, who is looked to as an expert in that particular area or role. Just like any tech industry job, it's not a cakewalk. For me in my role, I travel every single Monday just for the day to Oregon, and I come home that same night. I work an hour and a half away from my house in Oakland, and I still go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. I still have family. I still have a girlfriend that I need to spend quality time with. So a lot of things come into play when you have a full-time job and work with the business. So the thing that helps us out the most is just holding ourselves accountable and learning how to prioritize. I think that's key. We have a lot of ideas that come across our minds on a day-to-day basis, but we have limited time. And when we do have time to work on the app, whether it's long nights or long weekends or sacrificing going out, sacrifice going to happy hours, or anything to that nature, we have to use that time as efficiently as possible. So we kind of learned to do that along the way, and it's worked. I mean, we could have been faster in a lot of different areas. We could have prioritized better in different areas, but nothing is perfect. But relative to us having a full-time job and working on the app, I don't want to say part-time, but kind of almost in a full-time capacity as well too. We feel that we came a long way and we put something out there that a user loves. And to be honest, that's what keeps us going. The feedback, like what just you mentioned, you like the app, you like the design, you like the experience, that motivates us to keep going. That'll motivate me to stay up to, past my bedtime tonight to work on something on the app and just wake up 4 hours later to head down to Silicon Valley and go to work and then come back home and immediately work on the app again. So just got to keep checking.
You mentioned an important point, the fact that in all of that, you find the time to work out that much a week. So, I have to ask, I'm that business person, and probably many of the people listening, they have a tight schedule and they have not prioritized working out. So you're trying to run your business and you're trying to find the time to work out and work at your job at the same time. How do you feel that GrpFit would help someone in this situation?
Sure. Well, even before they hop on GrpFit, I would tell them, figure out what your baseline is and figure out what your long-term goal is, and then break that down into small, attainable steps or milestones or goals. So if I'm starting from ground zero, I may go to the gym once a month, not necessarily watching what I'm eat. I would just simply start just watching what I eat, not really even counting my calories, not count my macros, but just adding more healthy fats, compared to saturated fats. Adding more protein as compared to carbs, adding more green, leafy vegetables into my diet without even, putting pressure on myself to go to the gym. Because I guarantee that small step right there would give you some progress for at least 2, 3, 4 weeks without even increasing your gym workouts. And then from there, then you add in workouts here and there. Then you become more consistent. Then you get more intense with your workouts. Then you start tracking your nutrition more closely. So I would start there first. And at the same time, you come to GrpFit. There's people just like you mentioned. There's a lot of business minded people who just don't have the time or think they don't have the time to go to the gym. And you'll find them on the app. You'll find that, the person working at the company right next door to you, or the person right down the block from you, or the person that's working at a high tech firm is on GrpFit. They're posting, hey, I just got off of work. I'm going to the gym. Here's my pre-workout meal. Boom. I'm in the gym. Go hard, go home. Oh, I'm at the gym. After the gym, I'm going to work on my class presentation. We see those posts all the time on GrpFit. And then right underneath that, you see all the motivating comments that support from other users that support that person. So I think it's just a realization that, you're not the only one who has that problem. It's very common for us. Business-minded people have the tend to just focus on something, just go 100% at it, which is great. But just take the time out to really think about your health and wellness, because end of the day, we could talk about Black success, Black excellence, but you need to be alive and well to get to that point. So start with small goals, like I mentioned, start with small changes, come to GrpFit, and realize that there's other people out there like you that you can learn from and seek out advice from and get off to the races.
And what do you feel like has, increased the engagement on GrpFit? How do you think that people are able to stay engaged?
Prior to switching to GrpFit, the students at General Assembly kind of came to us. What they find is that people were more interested in the well-being of others. And that in itself was surprising. But when we actually implemented our feed where you could share posts, stuff like that, it was one of the most surprising things that we ran into. Complete strangers were very interested in others. We all follow each other on Instagram here and there. We all like each other pictures here and there. But when it comes to health and fitness, it's kind of bigger than not knowing each other. It's bigger than just hitting a follow button. You want to see the next person, especially somebody in your own community who may be similar to your mother, similar to your father, similar to your brother, your cousin, your daughter, your son. You want to see them do well and be well. So that was very surprising to us, and that keeps people motivated and encouraging. I mean, some of the user feedback that we've received thus far, they're saying that, that's the number one thing that keeps people motivated. It's like, hey, I never wanted to post, my fitness activities or progress on Instagram or Twitter, or Facebook, because I'm afraid of the comments and I'm embarrassed to show my stomach or whatever the case may be. I'm afraid to look sweaty, hair all messed up, you name it. A lot of people giving excuses, but they were pleasantly surprised that they could do that on GrpFit and get nothing but positive love and feedback and support from everyone that's on the app. And to me, that's pretty much our bread and butter right now. And that's what keep people engaged the most on the app.
So, Richard, what would you say you would like to see GrpFit in the future, like upcoming future?
I mean, plain and simple, we want to be synonymous with Black health and fitness. Whenever you think of Black fitness, Black health issues, we want to be the first thought that comes to your mind. We want to be the platform where you come to share your progress, the platform to come to look for education for yourself or a family member, the platform to come to serve as a role model in the fitness space to somebody else. And that's our big goal and our long-term goal. And we have a long way to go. Have a lot on our product roadmap, but I think we're heading in the right direction.
And what are you most proudest of?
Hmm. To be honest, I'm very proud of, first and foremost, my team. Without them and their expertise in the tech space and just entrepreneurial space, we haven't gotten this far. So I definitely appreciate them. And right behind them, I'm definitely appreciative of just the love and support for our community. And not just the Black community, but also people who've been around since the CrowdFit days. Things haven't been perfect, but people have had patience and support for us to keep going. And then thirdly, I'm just proud of the quality that we've been able to push out, especially the fact that again, we've been doing it, we've been bootstrapping. We're doing this with a full-time job, a 9 to 5. So I think with that, considering all that, I believe we came a long way, and those three things kind of make me happy.
And I have to ask all the people this question because everything is great. I do want to know, but the things that are sometimes tough make us even stronger. So I want to know, like, what's the last thing or one of the most memorable things that you failed at?
Oh, when we came into the realization that CrowdFit was failing, that was a huge blow to us. Our confidence was, to be honest, our confidence was a little bit shot. As I mentioned, we wasn't exactly sure where to go to next. We felt that a lot of money went down the drain. A lot of time, 2 years, I went down the drain. And I didn't mention this earlier, but we had a small legal battle, naming battle with CrowdFit as well too. At the same exact time that we spent thousands of our own dollars on to fight to keep the name CrowdFit, just to see it fail. It was very draining, mentally, emotionally. But what happened next is that the thing I mentioned, our support system. We felt it was our obligation to give it our all, exhaust all our options to succeed. And then when we came across the idea of GrpFit, we felt it was our obligation to provide something to the Black community, which is our GrpFit platform. And when we made that turn, we quickly rebounded from the failure of CrowdFit, and we haven't looked back since.
Amazing. So it's been great. I do want to leave off with a couple of like fire questions that are random, not related to business. but
Okay.
But the first one is, of course, what advice would you give your 23-year-old self?
Oh, focus more. I always was someone who liked to try new things. So consequently, I would lose focus on a particular goal or get bored very easily. So I would give my 23-year-old self the advice of just being focused more and being patient with my goals.
And what's one of your like weird quirks?
Uh, weird quirks. I look up and research random things. Actually, my girlfriend makes fun of me all the time because of this. Actually, just the other day, we was walking down the streets of Oakland, and I noticed the sun was setting, but it wasn't setting directly in the west. And for all these years, I thought it was set directly in the west. And so I pulled out a compass on my phone. And it's like, wait, has people been lying to me this whole time?
Not the compass.
So yeah, I immediately went to Google, Wikipedia, everything you could think of to figure out what was going on, and I was surprisingly amused at the fact that I really was upset. I didn't know it did. It's not exactly in the West.
Okay, that's a good one. And what would you do with your 15 minutes of fame?
Ooh, 15 minutes of fame. Well, the first 60 seconds, I would shout out Harlem. And then the rest of the 14 minutes, I would try to bring up my family and friends to give them some fame as well. If one make it, we all make
That's beautiful. See, we see why you do group fit. That's beautiful.
it.
Well, Richard, it has been a pleasure. I know, like I said, I downloaded and supported. I'm excited to get my goals off the ground. You have to tell the people how can they stay in the know? How can they support what you're doing?
Sure. Thank you for having me and let me talk about GrpFit, our story. Everyone out there, you can download GrpFit from the iOS App Store today. We are releasing the Android version pretty soon. Follow us on Instagram and GrpFit and just stay in contact with us. And you can catch me at Rich Chris Bailey on Instagram and Twitter. And I hope to see everyone on our platform.
Awesome. And of course, everything for Black to Business is at blacktobusiness.com or follow us on social media at Black to Business. Be sure to rate, like, and subscribe to our podcast so that we can continue to have great people on the podcast like GrpFit and Richard, who's just starting out. And I know the journey is going to be beautiful. So we're so excited for them. And that's a wrap.